Victim of Great Game. Crime scene of Cold War. Stories of resistance. Series of treaties. And death of ambitions. This is Saga of Afghan Turbulence. Popular talk about turbulence in Afghanistan often revolves around Soviet invasion and American war against the country during the last 40 years. Although true, this does not cover the whole of the Afghan dilemma. Few people recognize that the country has been the worst hit prisoner of its geography and history. Let's try to know Afghanistan trouble deeper than the cover stories. Since 3rd century, term Afghan has been continuously used for all the Pashtun people. The total Pashtun population of Afghanistan is 15 million. The total Pashtun population in Pakistan is 36 million. So if we assume Afghan as an ethnic group, Pakistan hosts the majority of the Afghan population. However, now Afghan identity has been associated more widely with the country called Afghanistan. In mid-18th century, Ahmed Shah Abdali established the Durrani Empire. Interestingly, it was almost the whole of the present-day Pakistan, including Kashmir Valley, complete Afghanistan and Iran's city of Mashhad. Occasionally, this Durrani Empire was also referred as Afghan Empire. However, in early 19th century, Durrani Empire fell and Dost Mahmud emerged as a new emir of the remaining territory. The Durrani dynasty later on settled in Quetta and actively participated in Pakistan movement. It is worth noting that the major southern part of Durrani Empire, that is in Pakistan now, had already been fallen to the Sikh Empire. Later on, till 1849, British successfully conquered that whole areas from Sikhs. This further sparked the Great Game. Present-day Afghanistan was born out of the Great Game between Russian Empire and British Empire and the three treaties, namely Treaty of Gandamak, Durand Line Agreement and Treaty of Rawalpindi. After remaining almost continuously on war for 40 years with British India, Emir of Afghanistan formally accepted British superiority in Treaty of Gandamak in 1879. This treaty not only gave the British full control over Afghan Emirate but also ceded the regions of Quetta, Pishin, Hanai, Sibi, Kurram, and Khyber to British India. Afghan Emirate became a British protectorate. Later on, Durand Line Agreement formally marked the border between British India and British protracted Afghan Emirate. Then, in 1919, Emir Aminullah Khan signed Treaty of Rawalpindi. In this treaty, British accepted the sovereignty of Afghan Emirate and the Afghan Emirate reaffirmed Durand Line as their southern border. Thus, modern-day Afghanistan was emerged on the 19th of August 1919. Weary of continuous war on each frontiers, the visionary leadership of Emir Abdul Rahman had recognized earlier that for the peace and prosperity of Afghan Emirate, it's wise to resolve border issues with British India, which had extended to Peshawar and Khyber valleys after the fall of Sikh Empire. In October 1888, Emir Abdur Rahman wrote a letter to the Lord Dufferin, then the Viceroy of India, requesting him to send a mission to Kabul to settle the border. A joint boundary commission spent several years in demarcation of the boundary. Formal agreement was signed on the 12th of November 1893 and took its final shape in the Treaty of Rawalpindi on the 8th of August 1919. The northern border was also shaped by Great Game but with little Afghan participation. Initial concept of the northern border of Afghanistan was emerged in 1882, when Britain and Russia began discussions about the Afghan boundary on the northern side. They set up a commission to finalize the boundaries. As after Treaty of Gandamak in 1879, Kabul government had no say in foreign affairs, Emir Abdurrahman accepted the border agreed by Russia and Britain. Although it would have a few changes during next 100 years, present-day borders were formally agreed in 1919 with Soviet Russia. Famous historian of 16th century Farishta writes, "The men of Kabul and Kulj also went home, and whenever they were questioned about the Mausul of the Kohistan they said, 'Don't call it Kohistan, but Afghanistan, for there is nothing there but Afghans and disturbances.'" Unfortunately, this continues to be true even after 4 centuries. Afghanistan has almost always been under invasion after the fall of Durrani Empire by the end of 18th century. Modern Afghanistan has seen little glimpse of peace and prosperity. Either there is a foreign occupation like Persian, Russian, Britain, or American invasions, or there starts a war between the warlords and different clans. This makes Afghanistan ungovernable. Perhaps this understanding kept Britain and Russia agreeing earlier on keeping themselves away from merging the Afghan emirate into their empires. Afghanistan is one of the richest countries in the world, having mineral and rare earth elements estimated at $3 trillion roughly. Rare earths elements are essential modern technologies. If there is no lithium batteries and computer chips, there would be no laptops or mobile devices, no GPS, nor there would be any drones, satellites, stealth aircraft, and hypersonic weapons. And this all depends on rare earth elements. This makes Afghanistan more prone to the trivial games of the competing powers like China, Russia, and USA. Afghanistan's history, geography, resources, and disposition of its people all combined make it vulnerable. Last golden era of this region was Ahmed Shah Abdali's rule. Few places on the earth have had that much hard time Afghans had since then. They, like all other humanity, are longing for peace and prosperity. There are always lesser-known yet significant achievements which popular visions tend to forget. We will keep highlighting those lesser-knowns. For more surprising lesser-known stories, stay connected. Thank you for watching. Please give your feedback and comments below in comment section. We hope you will consider subscribing our channel. Bye bye.